we're talking about how we can go through discipleship with people basically through reading the Bible themselves.
Yeah, the most effective way that I have found over the years to disciple people, whether one-on-one or in small groups, is to use a shared method of Bible reading, where essentially we create accountability groups, either one-on-one or in small communities, where we're going to be reading the Bible together every week independently and then coming together once a week to discuss how God is working in our lives through that reading.
So how does this look practically? Like, what are we wanting to get out of this kind of a session?
Yeah. What we'll typically do is arrange ahead of time what portion of the text we want to read. That may be as specific as saying we want to cover these chapters this week, or it may be just to say we want to be reading through this section of the Bible, this book of the Bible, and we may recognize that different ones of us are reading at a different pace. But we'll decide what portion of the text we're going to be covering, and then I encourage people to look for 3 things every day as they read. They want to look for something new, their favorite part, and practical applications that are there in the text. You want to look for something new because we should always go to the Bible expecting to learn, expecting to see new things and to grow in that way. We should look for our favorite part because Bible reading should be enjoyable. It should be something we delight in. It's not just a duty that we perform, but it's something that we really enter into with joy. And then practical application, because as the Bible itself says, we're to be doers of the Word, not merely hearers. And really one of the primary purposes of Bible reading and Bible study is to facilitate obedience to the revealed will of God. So one of the things that's interesting to me about this method is it's not a unique method here, but it is kind of a different way of approaching discipleship than a lot of people do. And I know that this is a method that is somewhat new to you over the last several months that we've been working together. What have you observed as you've participated in this method and used it in various settings? What are some of the strengths or advantages that you might have seen?
Well, one of the things I like about it is that no matter what your background is, maybe no matter how long you've been studying the Bible, we've got people in our small group that have been serious students of the Bible for years and years and years. And we have other people in our group who are brand new to the Scriptures. They've never really read it that much. And yet the way we go about this study, everybody gets to bring something to the discussion. And I think that's a really positive benefit.
And that's hard to do with other discipling methods where you're either talking to the people who have got a lot of experience and are already kind of mature, or you're talking to the people who don't know anything. This kind of levels the playing field, and there's something there for everybody, and everybody gets to grow, everybody gets to participate. Yeah, I love it for that.
Yeah, I think it's really beneficial, and I think we've seen that in our group so far. Now let me ask you this, though. What are some of the ways that we can take this method, and what are some of the tools we can use to make it best, to get the most out of it?
Sure. One of the best things that I have seen people do over the years using this method is to have a dedicated copy of the Bible. In fact, in a lot of cases, we will buy in bulk kind of economy editions, paperback Bibles, and every year you'll have a different Bible. And the reason for doing that is you might have your regular Bible, your study Bible, that you don't want to mark up as freely as you would for
Sure.
a method like this. You want a copy of the Bible that you feel free to underline, highlight, write in the margins, just mark it up like crazy, and maybe put the date in the front cover so that you've got a dedicated copy. And after several years of using this method, you get to look back and see, wow, here's what I was seeing in 2012. Here's what I was seeing in 2013. Here's what I was seeing in 2014. It's almost like, a chronological chart of your growth as a believer. So a dedicated copy of the Bible I have found to be very helpful. Some people like to use a highlighter method, like color-coded, so there's something new might always be in yellow, and their favorite part might always be in blue, and the questions that they have or the practical applications might be in some other coloring. And sometimes that's just kind of a visually appealing way of breaking up the text as you're looking at it. And then, of course, there's marginal cues, and this is what I frequently do. I'll take my dedicated text, and when I find something that's new that I don't remember seeing before, maybe I knew it at one time and forgot it, rediscovered it, or maybe I've just never realized this before in reading the text, I'll put the letter N in the margin right next to that verse and maybe underline the part that was new to me. Or my favorite part, I'll underline it, put an F in the margin. or underline it, put an A for practical application. Or it may be a question. I'll underline it or circle that part of the text and put a question mark in the margin. And that way, as I'm going back through the text, or when I'm working with multiple people throughout the week and using the same method, it immediately cues me to recall what about that part of the passage stood out.
Yeah. One of the things I like about this so much is to see people getting excited about reading the Bible,
Yes.
and it really encourages each other as we all come together, and everybody's got something to share, something they've never seen before. It raises so many good questions, and there's just a chance for a great dialogue. And one of the other benefits as well is that regardless, again, of your spiritual maturity or how long you've been doing Bible study, this is a group that just about anybody can facilitate.
Yes.
Because it's just a matter of just committing to reading a portion of the Bible and talking about it.
Exactly. It doesn't require an experienced Bible teacher. You know, you can disciple someone without being much further down that road than they are, but it creates accountability, and it does encourage people to read the Bible. I've had people over the years using this method who might come into a session and they say, you know what, I had a rough week, I didn't get any reading done, but I knew that coming here and hearing what other people have been seeing in their reading this week would encourage me in this new week, in this week to come. And it kind of rekindles the fire. So instead of being a guilt thing, it becomes a grace thing, you know? And the best thing that we can do in discipling other people, whether at a church level, at a small group level, or one-on-one, is get them reading the Bible. And this is a great way for parents to disciple their kids. It's a great way for spouses to share together in daily devotions or once a week sitting down with a cup of coffee and talking about what they've seen in the Word of God.